What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's week 10, 2023. Figuring give you a little different change of pace here. Get out of the office. I've been on Training Peaks all night trying to keep up with, what's going on with everybody. Make sure everyone had a good weekend. Everybody's out there still being super consistent. Tonight, we're going to talk about real quick. A lot of you are in some type of base build still or coming towards the end of it. Some of you have just gotten into some type of race specific plan. I know some of you are doing the half marathon coming up, but some of you are stepping into your bigger races for the year. So we're going to talk to you about just what is base building specifically, the transition period that we go to. When I talk about building for a race, what does that actually mean? And how do we actually get there? Also, I was asked, how do you build fitness? What is the equation to building fitness? So I hope some of this we'll just go over real quick. We'll spend a few minutes up here just describing what's going on. So we're talking about base building. What is that? So just think about this. All year, Ironman athlete, runner, whatever you are, you can't hold fitness. You can't hold being able to go do well at an Ironman all year. The pros don't even do it. They only race a certain number of these distances a year because they peak into these races. It's just not sustainable being able to be at a certain level of fitness all year long for this. So what happens at the end of the year? You finish up here, you have this goal. You built your goal, you had a nice race there. And you have to come down. You have to transition into a recovery phase. It's the end of the year, it's off season. That's when a lot of us talked. We consulted about our goals for the year, the next year coming up. So again, you may have not done much or definitely did a lot less volume than when you were at this marathon or Ironman goal or whatever it is you had. And your fitness will naturally come down a little bit, and that's okay. We want to rebuild from any injuries we may have had, overuse things, just recover the body. And not just physically, but mentally. We got to keep our head game strong. We got to keep motivated for that year. So, we may have talked a little bit. We talked, at some point, when your fitness was down here, we consulted. You kind of tapered down off season. And then we said, okay, what are your goals? What do you got going on this year? So we're starting from, let's just say we're going to start down here. This is when we consulted. We figured out what we had to do, January, February, whatever it is. You may have a couple goals throughout the year, but we usually have that A goal, whether it's a marathon or half Ironman, whatever it is towards the end of the year. Your first time doing a half marathon, whatever it is. So that's our goal up here. This is our A goal. We may have some other goals along the way, supporting goals. If this is an Ironman, we might have a 70.3 event here as well. But how do we get from here to here? So we come up with a plan. You can't really go from, here to here in such a linear progression and say, hey, January, I want to start. I got this race in November. Let's go. Let's hit the ground running. I want to do these 50, 60-mile bike rides again. It doesn't work like that. Especially the longer you took off from the year before, so think about this going forward year after year, the more base building at a certain level we have to do to catch you up to the ability to be able to plan for that race. So there's going to be some type of base build. What that means is we're going to take a look at your past like we did. We're going to figure out, volume-wise, what you need to do to be able to get ready for that build. So whatever that is, we're here. We're going to take it up a little bit, and then we're going to level out. We're going to see how you do at that volume. After a little bit of time, whether it's a 3 or 4 week block of just consistency, that's what base building basically is. That's how I look at it. Consistency and discipline. We have to get you back in the habit of biking a few times a week, running a few times a week for the multi-sport athletes, getting back in the pool, because when it starts to go to this race right here, we need you to be we can't just throw you in on a build going up to that 20 weeks out, 16 weeks out when you haven't been consistent with the workouts. So they kind of stay at a certain, if you hit it real well for that month, we may take you up just a little notch of another base build, maybe some more volume. We go up a certain percentage and we find wherever our starting point is going to be. If we have a goal of having a starting point about right here, that's where we get you to. It may take 3 months or so, whatever it is, whatever type of base building, a little bit of extra volume each week. So now we transition. What are we transitioning into? We're transitioning into the build. We need to get from here, where we are after our initial bit of fitness and consistency gets built, to right here, whatever that goal may be. Now, how do we do that? Now, depending on what it is, what your goal is, first half marathon is going to be structured a lot differently than a returning Ironman athlete that, say, has a time goal of going under 12 hours or something like that. So we're going to have some specificity between, you know, here and here with workout wise on how we're going to get to that goals. Obviously, your intensity is going to be a lot different if you're looking to just complete a distance for the first time, because all of this territory is just new to you. But if you've done this path before, but you're looking for, just a new goal for it, then that's when our nice build comes in right here. So what's going to happen? Let's just say we're doing our A goal and we have 4 blocks. We're going to have 4 4-week blocks. So you got 4, 8, 12, 16 weeks to get from here to here. How are we going to do that? Well, believe it or not, when you go out and do your ride, your run, whatever it is, you're not actually per se building your fitness that day. What happens is we're going to fatigue the body. We're going to go up in volume over 3 weeks, a little bit each week. Those are called builds. It's no longer base where it's kind of the same for 3 weeks of volume. What we're going to do is we're actually going to build a little bit. We're going to go start at this point. We're going to go up for 3 weeks straight, increasing volume. So if you have a run, it may go from 7 miles to 8 miles the next week to 9 miles. We're going to build for 3 weeks, and then we have a deload week that takes the volume back a little bit. That's what you're going to experience in the plans that I structure for everybody, and that's when the fitness is built. When you're able to recover the body, so you're putting this training load and training stress on. You're pushing yourself to a point you really haven't pushed yet that year. You take a week, you come back a little bit. It kind of levels out though here, the amount of volume you're doing, but that's fine. That's when the fitness is built. That's when your mind resets. You get a little break. Your body physically gets to reset. You absorb all that fatigue and you're able to put fitness. It's like going to the gym. If you lift 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, every time you lift something, your body's used to what you're lifting, so it builds muscle back because it wants to be able to do that again. So if you lift something that you haven't lifted before, you get a PR, your body will naturally rebuild because it wants to be able to do that activity again, that stressor you put on the body. So if you do a 40-mile bike ride as you peak here, your body's going to want to repair and rebuild itself to be able to handle a 40-mile bike ride again. So we come back for a little bit, a little less volume, we build fitness, and we go into the next training block. And that's when we're pushing 45 miles, 50 miles, 55 miles, progressively going up. So we build again. We're going up. We're here. So this is 1, 2. We come up. 3. And then we come up again into our race day. We actually kind of build a little bit above it because we do taper down into race day. But you're going to structure, it's going to go in that direction, but it's not in a straight line. It's individualized into blocks of training. So when we say building, we have building blocks. We break them down into 3 or 4 week cycles going into race day. Longer and better your event is, Ironman or something like that, you may do a 20-week plan, 24-week plan, whatever your goal is, but that's how it's structured going up that way. So that's how your fitness is built. We're building, we're deloading for a week, we build again, we go into another, we reset everything, push a little forward. Now I've also been asked, and it's a reminder I have to give everybody, is slow down a little bit. 80% of your volume, 80% of what you're putting in every week here, is done relatively easy. It needs to be low heart rate. We're training for endurance events. We're not training to go out there at 180 beats per minute for 12 hours, for 6 hours, for 70.3. We need to be efficient at our low heart rates. So yes, 80% of the time in your plan, I stress, you need to be easy. You need to be in a conversational pace. It needs to be, and especially during base building here, super important. That's when you're going to build that aerobic engine that I'm talking about. Because when we get into this specific build for the race, we are going to put intensity in. You're going to have a certain workout a week for the run, for the bike, where you're going to push, you're going to do some tempo work, you're going to do interval work. That's specifically preparing you from this point to this point. That's when that intensity is built in. And guess what? When you do get to that intense workout, it's that other 20% that we're going to push. That's where you get faster. That's where you can push yourself. Because if you push yourself too much and don't fill up this 80% tank full of easy workouts, when you have to come up to that interval or that tempo workout or that track interval that we're going to go do on the track, you're just not going to put the effort in. It's going to be a lackadaisical effort. It's not going to, you have too much fatigue going into it. Once I really broke this down over the last couple of years, my training went to the next level. And that's why I like helping people with this stuff, is because when I show up for my track workout during the week, or my hard bike session, or the efforts I'm going to put out on my long ride getting closer to race day, I'm motivated. I want it. I want to get out there, and I feel good. Even though I've had a lot of volume, that's good. Low heart rate volume, so I can smash, the intensity right here. So that's how things are built. And then, yes, when we come off of our A goal, whether that's your final race of the year, whatever it is, I don't recommend taking a sudden tank down into doing nothing for a couple months. We recover and we come back down. And if this is, say, where we started the year after last year, it's okay. You're going to come down. You're going to lose a little bit of fitness. But if we can hold a base level a little bit higher than this, that's how you progress year after year. Because now we're going to start here with the same time frame and be able to go up and do well and do better year after year. So it's all about consistency. It's all about the discipline. So keep after it. Keep getting it done. A couple things coming up this week. I know a couple people have asked some type of running warm-up, dynamic warm-ups that I'm doing. Don't worry, mine Pooch over here. Come here, buddy. We're going to do probably a quick, throw that out there, maybe a quick video for just something to do before your runs, how to get the blood flowing and how to get the muscles warmed up. You'll have a better run that way. And that's it. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, have a great week, and I'll catch you next week.